At 44, I never imagined I'd be standing at this crossroads, divorced, betrayed, and now, alienated from my own daughter. Mia, my 18-year-old, is set to start college in just a few months. But in the wake of my crumbling marriage, I made a decision that would send shockwaves through my family. My soon-to-be ex-husband, Jonathan, 45, had been cheating on me for nearly a year with his secretary, Alicia, 34, and unapologetically smug about their affair. When Jonathan finally admitted the truth, I wasted no time. I filed for divorce, packed my bags, and left our home behind, seeking refuge with a close friend. I thought Mia would naturally be in my corner. After all, I was the one betrayed. But she blindsided me. A week passed, and she didn't even check in, not a single text, not a single call to ask where I was. She wasn't home the night Jonathan confessed, so I had no chance to say goodbye. I waited, hoping she'd reach out, but silence was all I got. Finally, I broke down and texted her myself, explaining that I left because her father had been unfaithful. Her response chilled me. She already knew and didn't think it was a big deal. My gut twisted. Had Jonathan gotten to her first? Had he spun the story in his favor, painting himself as the victim? Determined to set the record straight, I kept reaching out. But as the days turned into weeks, it became painfully clear Mia wasn't on my side. Even knowing the full truth, she chose him. The betrayal stung, but she was still my daughter. I kept pushing, trying to mend the rift. When she reluctantly agreed to see me, our time together felt forced. She barely looked up from her phone, her interest in me evaporating like mist in the sun. Then, she stopped responding altogether. And then came the breaking point. Scrolling through Instagram, my breath hitched. There she was, smiling in Alicia's embrace, captioned with a sickening mom. The ground beneath me felt unsteady. Losing my husband was one thing, but losing my daughter to her? That was unbearable. Rage boiled inside me. I grabbed my phone and called Mia. No answer. I called again. And again. 17 times before she finally picked up, her voice laced with irritation. I didn't care. I demanded an explanation. She scoffed. Said it was none of my business. Had the audacity to accuse me of stalking her as if I wasn't her actual mother. My pulse pounded in my ears. How could she be so cruel? I reminded her I was the one who gave birth to her, raised her, sacrificed for her. And now she was pretending the woman who wrecked our family was her real mother? Mia's response? Cold as ice. I owe you nothing. If you don't like what I post, I'll make it easier, blocking you now. And just like that, the call cut off. I sat there, numb, the phone still pressed to my ear. Mia, my Mia, had erased me from her life like I was nothing. The pain hit like a sledgehammer. I sobbed until my body ached, until the betrayal burned itself into my bones. But once the tears dried, something inside me shifted. I refused to be a doormat any longer. If Mia wanted to play that game, then fine. I would make choices for myself, just like she had. For years, I'd set aside a college fund for her. Jonathan and I had agreed to split the cost, 2 separate accounts, untouched, waiting for the day she'd need them. But as I sat there, staring at the shattered remains of my old life, I had a realization: why should I keep sacrificing for someone who doesn't even want me in her life? So, I made a choice. There was a house I'd dreamed of owning for years, a stunning home in an upscale neighborhood. I never bought it because Jonathan refused to move, and Mia didn't want to leave her friends. But now? Some kind of explanation. She said she just couldn't understand why I was being so harsh with her when all she ever wanted was to keep both of her parents in her life. She claimed she wasn't choosing sides and that calling Alicia mom was just her way of making her feel more comfortable, not a sign that she loved me any less. Jonathan, on the other hand, was glaring at me the entire time, his arms crossed as if he were the victim in all of this. I took a deep breath and told Mia that this wasn't about her keeping her father in her life, it was about the way she treated me in the process. I told her that she had completely disregarded my feelings, invalidated my pain, and expected me to just continue providing for her while she openly dismissed me as her mother. I reminded her that I had been there for her, financially and emotionally, for her entire life, and yet, the moment things got uncomfortable, she chose to turn away from me instead of standing by my side. Mia looked taken aback but quickly tried to argue that I was blowing things out of proportion. That's when I told her that actions have consequences, and if she felt comfortable enough to replace me with Alicia, then she should feel comfortable enough to let Alicia and her father handle her expenses as well. Jonathan immediately stepped in, calling me vindictive and accusing me of ruining Mia's future just because I couldn't handle my emotions like an adult. That's when I lost it. I looked him dead in the eye and reminded him that he was the one who blew up our family in the first place. He had the audacity to stand there and talk about being an adult when he was the one who had an affair and expected me to just accept it. I told him that if he and Alicia wanted to play house so badly, then they could deal with the financial responsibilities that came with it. Mia was crying at this point, but I had reached my limit. I told her that I would always love her, but love didn't mean being a doormat. Then I got into my car and drove away. Now, I can't stop thinking about it. Was I too harsh? Should I have handled things differently? Maybe I did let my emotions get the best of me, but at the same time, I feel like I had every right to set my boundaries. Mia might be my daughter, but she's also an adult now, and she made her choices. Started distancing herself from me instead. She admitted that it was selfish and immature, but she was excited about the idea of having a car and an apartment, and she thought it was a small price to pay. However, she didn't realize how much it would actually hurt me until she saw how much I had distanced myself from her in return. She told me she regretted everything and that she should have never taken Jonathan's bribes. She said that even though she liked Alicia, she never meant to replace me as her mother, and that calling Alicia mom was just her way of trying to make things easier for everyone. She never expected it to blow up like this, and she was sorry for not being more considerate of my feelings. Mia also said she understood why I spent the college fund and that she wasn't reaching out to ask for the money back. She just wanted to fix things between us, even if it took time. She asked if we could meet up before she left for college, just to talk, and that if I wasn't ready to forgive her yet, she would understand. I haven't responded yet. Part of me wants to meet her and hear her out, but another part of me still feels hurt and betrayed. I know she's young and made a mistake, but I also can't forget how much she hurt me when I needed her the most. I'm torn between giving her another chance or keeping my distance for my own peace of mind. I guess I have some thinking to do. It sounds like you've taken a really big step toward healing, both for yourself and for Mia. It's completely understandable that you still have lingering hurt, but your decision to reconnect with her speaks volumes about your strength and love as a mother. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, it means choosing to move forward, and it seems like both of you are willing to put in the work. It's also telling that Mia is taking responsibility for her actions and setting boundaries with her father and Alicia. That shows growth on her part, and the fact that she wants you to take her to college is proof that she truly values your relationship. Therapy is a great idea, too. Having a professional guide you both through these emotions will help ensure you're rebuilding your bond in a healthy way. Things may not be perfect right away, but it sounds like you're on the right path. And at the end of the day, love and understanding always have the power to mend even the deepest wounds.